What is a meme? What does it mean if something is a meme? Is it funny? Witty? Brutal? Is it a joke? Or maybe just a picture? A picture of what? A person? Place? Thing? Could it be all of them? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe that's the point. How did it become a meme? Did enough people see it? I didn't see this one. Where did memes even come from? What does meme even mean?
Memes are everything. Memes are the way we communicate. They convey such specific ideas, emotions, and feelings that are appropriate to any number of situations. They can make you happy, and they can make you sad. They can make you angry, yet hopeful. They can make you content, yet fearful. Memes make you human. How did this happen? What happened throughout history to allow all of this to happen? Well, a whole bunch of stuff, really. That's what I'm here to talk to you about. The history of memes. The origin, evolution, integration of memes into modern society. But before we get into the historic specifics of memes, first, we need to clear up what it means to be a meme.
There's a lot of speculation and ideas as to the origins of the term, but it's been narrowed down to this. A meme is an idea or behavior that carries cultural and symbolic meaning that gets spread from person to person. This definition stems from a number of other sources. Some say meme is just a shortened version of the phrase memento mori, remember you are mortal. This isn't bad. Memes have evolved to the point where the purpose of the meme is to tell you you are going to die. The more accepted definition comes from British biologist Richard Dawkins in 1976. The word meme is short for the phrase meme. This is a combination of the words mimesis and eem. Mimesis means imitation or mimicry, while eem means linguistics. Imitation, linguistics. The repetition of language. That's what memes are, a repetition of the current language. Language is something that's always changing and evolving, so memes must change too. But where did that change begin? Where does the history of memes begin?
To ask about the history of memes is to ask about the history of comedy and jokes and language even. Throughout human history, you can find jokes everywhere. Humans have always wanted to laugh. I mean, this has and will always be true. So theoretically, memes have been around since people were. But that's a lot of history to cover, and I don't have that kind of time. So let's just start somewhere we know about.
Memes could possibly be dated back to around 5 BC. Of course, then they weren't called memes, but graffiti instead. In both Pompeii and Herculaneum, you can find dozens of carvings in stone walls made by people of the time. Some of them are jokes, some are insults, and all of them are funny. Such classic lines like,
Celidas makes the girls moan.
Epiphra, you are bald!
Virgula Tutertus, you are a nasty boy.
and of course, Phalaros is a eunuch. The Roman and Greek soldiers would share in this fun. An often used ranged weapon during that time was a slingshot, and for ammo, the soldiers would use balls of lead ranging from egg to fist size. On these balls of lead, they would carve little jokes and sayings like,
For Pompey's backside.
Ouch!
Be lodged well!
and my favorite, This is a hard nut to crack.
You could think of this as a prehistoric death mic. A death mic is a mechanic in video games that allows the person you just killed to talk back to you. Usually they don't have anything nice to say.
I can tell your family hates you. Motherfucker!
Your teammate is in the corner.
Can I grab my stuff?
No, you fucking bitch, dude!
Already, in an early and still developing world, people wanted to be funny. People wanted to make each other laugh. Now that's a simple idea, and it's been one of the most consistent things throughout all of human history.
Similarly, some 900 years later, one Viking would try the same thing the Romans did. During a liturgy given in the massive basilica of Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, probably during the depressing and laborious prayer of the Anaphora, a bored soldier carved his name into the white marble parapet that surrounds the balcony of the church's upper gallery. The carving reads,
Halfdan carved these runes, or Halfdan was here.
Vikings turned out to be funny elsewhere too. They had this rather fun pastime called flighting. The idea was you would be put in a battle of words, like a rap battle. The goal was to insult your opponent with clever wordplay while making it rhyme. For instance, your opponent might say, "You're ugly as sin, Enrique of the dead. It's no wonder you can't even take a woman to bed." Now you have to respond with an even greater insult while keeping it in rhyme. You may even say something like,
I may smell sour, just as you said, and I may not get women, so I'll lay your mother instead.
As far as history goes, comedy would take a break for a while. People were focusing more on basic survival, disease, war, and an ever-changing planet. But around the 1800s, comedy had actually dropped off the face of the earth entirely. Sure, you had comedic plays or stage performances, but that was stupid. Regular people didn't do that. Then, in 1921, at a university in Iowa, a satirical magazine known as The Judge published this comic.
by all accounts and analysis, this is a meme. This is a perfect example of a general meme format, the expectation versus reality meme. What's also interesting is the same magazine printed another meme like this just a year before. These comics nail all aspects of what a standard meme is, almost 100 years before any of that stuff happened. Newspapers around the nation would begin printing funny comics in newspapers and magazines. While perhaps just indirectly responsible, comics would influence the very style that memes are now created in. But that's a topic for later. Now it is time for the Marx Brothers. The Marx Brothers were an American family comedy act. They were actually all brothers, which is really cool. They first appeared in vaudeville in 1905. They would put together little quick stories and skits for a stage. People loved them. They were quick, clever, and just hilarious. While some brothers performed, another would have a stopwatch ready and time how long the audience laughed. In just a few years, they made the leap to the silver screen. And here's where they got out that stopwatch. They timed the laugh from vaudeville to see how long the director should leave silence after a joke, to give the audience time to laugh all the way without missing anything. It's genius! The Marx Brothers style of quick, brutal humor is another defining feature of memes. Each brother can be put into a category of modern meme. First up, you got Chico. He's pretty much your standard meme format. He'll either say something or show you something that's supposed to make you laugh.
He gets mad because he can't read.
Oh.
I haven't heard anything yet. Did you say anything?
Well, I haven't said anything worth hearing.
Well, that's why I didn't hear anything.
Next up, you got Harpo. He's more like your existential and surreal type of meme. His humor doesn't always make sense, but damn, it's still funny.
Well, it's not much of a place, but it's home.
Next up, you got Groucho. He's more of a old school rage comic or troll face meme. He's always got something to say about whatever situation he's in, and way more often than not, it's not a nice thing to say.
A lady's diamond earring has been lost. It looks exactly like this. In fact, this is it.
Haven't we seen each other somewhere before?
I don't think so. I'm not sure I'm seeing you now. It must be something I ate.
Remember, you're fighting for this woman's honor, which is probably more than she ever did.
He's had a change of heart.
A lot of good that'll do him. He's still got the same face.
Lastly, you got Zeppo. Zeppo isn't funny. These men would unknowingly pioneer the very fabric of memes. Their style, wit, and obscure humor can be seen amplified tremendously by the current meme age.
The idea of the Marx Brothers was their quick jokes, things you could hear and repeat, often without any context. But it's that repetition that's the point. They had jokes you could tell your friends and family. They were short, simple and easy to understand, and soon, comic strips would function in the same way.
But before comic strips and during the Marx Brothers, the world had this problem. World War II. Luckily, at this time, the war was coming to an end and the Allies had a joke. In a shipyard in Massachusetts, James J. Kilroy was a shipyard inspector. He would often count the rivets on planes for the war to make sure they had all of them. He would mark the plane with chalk to show that he had counted them. The welders would actually wipe off that chalk so they could get inspected again and increase their pay. Soon, Kilroy himself became, by all accounts, a meme. The welders drew a picture of a funny character with a big nose peering over a wall with the phrase, "Kilroy was here." The pilots got a kick out of this. They would spread it all over Germany, in destroyed cities, the sides of tanks, and the front of planes. The Germans thought Kilroy referenced an Allied spy amongst them, which is really funny. Kilroy falls in the same category as comics, and at the time, Kilroy was the furthest reaching and most influential meme there was.
Comics would begin to try the same thing. Luckily, they were for different reasons than the Allied forces' invasions. And soon, society would enter a new phase of memes without even knowing it. For this documentary, we're going to call comic strips and Kilroy proto-memes.
The leading man in comics would arrive just as the war left. That man was Charles M. Schulz. As I hope you all know, Schulz was the creator of the Peanuts comic strip, with fine characters such as Charlie Brown, Linus and Lucy Van Pelt, Schroeder, Franklin, Peppermint Patty, and of course, Snoopy. The Peanuts comics centered around this group of kids and their strange feelings toward Charlie Brown. I say strange because it's never clear how the kids really feel about him. The very first comic establishes the hatred of Charlie Brown, yet all the kids continue to hang out and associate with him. Charlie Brown is described as shrewd, a cynic, kinda boring, and more than anything,
wishy-washy.
Of all the characters, Charlie Brown is still the easiest to relate to. He gets constantly cucked by everybody. He remarks on his lack of friends, his poor life choices, his sad attitude, and has a remarkably bleak outlook on his own life. That's the most relatable cartoon character there's ever been. The Peanuts comics would continue for 50 more years, inspiring more comic artists to rise up and make more people laugh. Dennis the Menace, Family Circus, Garfield, Marmaduke, Dilbert, more and more comics would continue to pop up. The two most influential comic strips to meme culture were none other than Calvin and Hobbes by Bill Watterson and The Far Side by Gary Larson. Calvin and Hobbes is the funniest thing ever. I've never read, seen, or watched anything as consistently funny as Calvin and Hobbes. The pure righteousness of Calvin and his kid mind and the undying friendship of Hobbes is something we can all strive for. As far as memes go, the comic most similar and influential to memes is The Far Side. All of Gary Larson's comics are just one panel, one picture, and one line of text. Sometimes the characters talk, sometimes it's just visual. The Far Side is a frontrunner in the formatting and style of all modern memes. Comedy would continue to evolve and memes would continue to take shape. Television would change the game forever. A notable pioneer in TV comedy is Monty Python, whose quick, perfect British humor established a basis for memes to evolve on. Some of their jokes have even become memes themselves and continue to pop up to this day.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
Soon, stand-up comedy would become a major outlet for jokes. Comedians would tell these stories that just begged you to repeat them to your friends. Movies would have stupid one-liners in them that you remember forever.
I'll have what she's having.
Just a flesh wound.
These go to 11.
The best part about a one-liner is it's easy to repeat. It now becomes easier to make your friends and family laugh. And that's the whole point.
Humans have always had this instinct to make people laugh, to say and do things that other people would find funny. When somebody hears something funny, they often want to repeat it, usually to people who haven't heard it yet. That's just it. That's the idea. They repeat the language. That's what memes are all about. That's the very definition. In the late 90s and early 2000s, memes as you now know them would officially begin to form. some of which you may even know of firsthand. The game is changing and the rules are up in the air. Memes would now begin their early life and change the world. So, what was the first real meme? How did that meme affect the rest? Does this count as a meme? Well, how did this meme appear? What secrets lie within the origins of the meme? How did memes actually become the backbone of society?